Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Welcome to the session. Can you hear me? If yes, please type yes in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you, Surya. Thank you all for your confirmations. Thank you all for joining the session. Let us stop the chat. Let us stop the chat. So, what is our plan for today? As you know, the course is DevOps on AWS platform. So, we should all have an AWS account to practice the concepts, whatever we are learning. So as mentioned, we'll be learning how can we create a new AWS account. I'm sure few participants are already having an AWS account, but there are participants who are completely new, considering considering their point of view. I'll be showing you learn process of creating a new AWS account. If you're not having AWS account after this particular session, please follow the steps and go ahead and create a new AWS account. Once we have an AWS account, I will also show you how can we create a Linux machine on AWS. The prerequisite for DevOps, I hope you looked at the course content. The first few sessions, we will be learning on the Linux commands. We'll be learning the Linux operating system. So you should have a Linux environment. We cannot learn Linux in our Windows because it's in our laptop because it's installed on Windows operating system. So I will also show you how can we create a Linux machine on AWS. How can we connect to the Linux machine using the terminal called as putty? Once we get connected to the Linux using the terminal called putty, so let's get started working with Linux. So this is our plan for today's session. As usual, before moving on to today's session, any concepts, any questions on the concepts what we have discussed in the previous session, or you want to have any discussion with respect to the course, please raise your hand. Any questions on the concepts what we have discussed in the previous session, or you have any questions you want to speak with respect to the course curriculum or the duration or the process? As you know, this is the second day. We have close to 4 days of demo sessions. Okay, so demo sessions are free, and once the demo sessions has been completed, the meeting link will change, and you have to join. The meeting link will be shared to the paid candidates. You have to join using the new meeting link. Okay. So meanwhile, these sessions, you can enjoy the demo sessions. Okay, let's get started. I already have an AWS account. Okay, I already have an AWS account, but especially beginners, what is AWS? In simple way, AWS is a collection of services, my dear friends. AWS collection of services. It's a platform which is collection of services. Again, the next question that comes to your mind is what is a service? Sunil, you said AWS is a collection of services. Can you explain what you mean by service? Yes. We all use Google Drive, right? Google Drive. We can store photos in Google Drive. We can store some documents in the Google Drive. It's a storage service provided by Google or the internet. That's also a service. It's a storage service. Who is providing this Google Drive? Google is providing the Google Drive. Or the internet. If you want to use this Google Drive, you have to have an internet access. Am I right? It's a storage service provided by us. It's one example of service. We all use Gmail. It's an email service. Like Yahoo is an email service, Rediff Mail, Gmail is also an email service provided by Google. What is Uber and Rap? Uber and Ola, these are mobility services. So these are few examples of services. So we know Google Drive. We all know GoDaddy. It's a hosting service. If you want to have a website, we buy the domain name and hosting is GoDaddy. It's a hosting service offered over the internet. So these are all examples of services. So in the similar way, AWS is a collection of services. AWS is a collection of services. How many services AWS provides? If you search in Google, total number of services in AWS, close to 200 services. It's the world's most comprehensive, broadly adapted cloud offering over 200 services from different data centers globally. AWS is a collection of services. Total, how many services we are having? We are having total 200 services in AWS. So really, I'm curious to know. I want to look at how the total, how can I have access to these 200 services? So you have to have an AWS account. If you have an AWS account, you can log into AWS and you can start using any service as per your requirement. Participants, I already have an AWS account. So I log into AWS and I'll show you these services. How can we avail these particular services? If you want to log into AWS, the URL is aws.amazon.com. The URL to access these services is aws.amazon.com. Look at this. This is the site, AWS Cloud Platform. Clear? I already have an AWS account, so I'm going ahead with signing into the console. Can you see we have an option of sign in? I have to log in with my email address and I have to log in with the password. If you are not having AWS account, at bottom, can you see we have an option of creating a new AWS account? You can go ahead and create a new AWS account from here. I already have an AWS account. Let me show you how an AWS account looks like. So I'm logging in with my email address. Logged in. I have successfully logged into AWS platform. This is how the dashboard looks like. I have successfully logged into AWS account. You can see I have my AWS account ID. As mentioned, it is collection of 200 services. Where can I see all the 200 services? Can you see we have a left side option called services? Click on this, you will have an option of all the services. There are services related to analytics, there is services related to integration, there's services related to blockchain, there's services related to compute, there's a service related to database. A lot of services, end user computing, services related to front end, mobile development, services related to game development, services related to machine learning, services related to media services. Perfect. Services related to storage, services related to robotics, as per the client business. You can use the service whatever you can. So these are all list of services. If you go for all services, these are all the services available. So look at this. This is a group. If you click on this analytics, these are some set of services related to analytics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, close to 20 services related to analytics. Blockchain. This is one service related to blockchain. Business applications, group of services related to for compute instances. These are set of services related to compute instances. So as I have mentioned, I just want to show you that AWS is a platform. The URL is aws.amazon.com, where it is combination of 200 services. Any service you can avail if you have an AWS account. Now, if you're not having an AWS account, I'm showing you how to create a new AWS account. Let me sign out. Let me start from the scratch. If you want to have an AWS account, the URL is aws.amazon.com. Sign in to the console. And here we have an option of creating a new account. From here, you can go ahead and create a new account. But very important point, when you're creating a new account, when you're creating a new AWS account, the few details which you should be very handy. You should have a mobile number. To have an AWS account, it's mandatory that you have a mobile number. All of us are having a mobile number. That's not a problem. Participants, if you're maintaining two mobile numbers, please use the mobile number which is linked to your bank account. The active mobile number which is linked to your bank account. Next, you should have email address. That's very simple. First, we have to have email. Not first important thing is we should have an email address. The second thing what you should have is a mobile number. We all have an email address. That's good. You all have a mobile number. The next thing is what you should have is a debit card. Or you can also have a credit card. It's up to you. These three details you should have before going ahead to create a new AWS. Because when you're creating a new AWS account, it will ask you to provide email address, it will ask you to provide your mobile number, it will ask you to provide the debit card details. These three details you have to furnish in the process of creating a new AWS account. I already have an email address, I have mobile number, I have a debit card, me. So using all these three details, you can go ahead and create a new AWS account. So you can see here, we have an option of creating a new AWS account. Here we have an option of creating a new AWS account. Here comes for sign up. The first step, it is asking for email address. You need to furnish your email address and you need to furnish your account name. You have to select one account name. Account name generally is your email name. I already have documented the step-by-step process for creating a new AWS account. Look at this. Along with the screenshots, I have properly documented the process of creating a new AWS account. Step 1, the URL, as I have just mentioned, is aws.amazon.com. You need to furnish your email address. You need to furnish your login password. You need to reconfirm your password and you have to select one AWS account name, click on continue. A very important point, AWS account which you are creating now, you can use it for 12 months for free with some limitations. Very important point. So this 12 months, this free tier account is more than enough for us to learn DevOps. The first step, what you need to do is to provide your email address and login details. Yes, Surya, your question.
We need to select a root user or
Root user. There's no option of selecting the IAM user. You have to go ahead when you're creating a new AWS account, it should be always a root user.
Okay, fine.
Perfect. So provide this detail. Step 1, we have to provide your email address and login password. So email address we have mentioned in step 1. Scroll down. Step 2, enter the contact number. Enter contact information. Very important observation. AWS provides two types of accounts. Observe here. AWS is providing two types of account. One is professional account and personal account. Select personal. We are creating AWS for our personal use. So select the account type as personal and provide your mobile number and provide your right country. I have seen many participants providing India mobile number and country as US. So provide the right details. Okay. So this you have to furnish. Mobile number you have to furnish in step 2. Obviously, in step 3, you need to furnish your debit card. Scroll down. Step 3, you need to enter your debit card details. You can see here. You have to enter your debit card expiry date and you have to mention the card holder name. That's what you have. That's what I have mentioned here. And then it will ask you, do you have PAN? You don't need to furnish the PAN. Click on no. It will check whether the debit card details what you have entered is correct or not by deducting 2 rupees from your bank account. It will check whether the debit card details what you have provided is correct or not by deducting 2 rupees from your bank account. You get an OTP to verify the debit card details and the 2 rupees will be deducted. Next, you need to provide your mobile number one more time. Next, you need to provide your mobile number one more time to verify the mobile number what you have provided is correct or not. You get an OTP. The first OTP is to verify your debit card. Next OTP to verify your mobile number. Provide the 4-digit OTP to verify your mobile number. Next, AWS provides 3 types of plans: basic plan, developer plan, and business plan. Basic plan is free. Okay, so select the plan as basic. Scroll down. That's it. Center your role and your interest. So I'm interested in DevOps and select your role. That's it. Click on submit. You get a message saying that a thank you message saying that the AWS account has been successfully created. It's very, very simple to create a new AWS account. 2 important points you need to keep in mind. When you are entering debit card details or credit card details, your debit card should be enabled for international transactions. Are you understanding? Your debit card should, by default, debit card will not be enabled for international transactions. You have to talk to your banker, whether it's an SBI bank or ICICI bank or HDFC bank. If you're having mobile app, in the mobile app itself, there's an option to enable internet banking, international transactions at the debit card level. So please enable international transactions. And very important point, RuPay card will not work. You have to select a Visa card or MasterCard. So RuPay card will not work. So provide these details and then you get a message and you get an email saying that AWS is successfully created. Please check your email, your AWS account is successfully created. And then you have to wait for 6 hours to approximately 10 hours to get one more mail saying that AWS account is activated. You'll get 2 mails. AWS account created is one mail, AWS account is activated, is activation mail, you get it. If you go ahead and create AWS account, now you get a message saying that email saying that AWS account is created. But after 6 hours or to 10 hours, you get one more email saying that AWS account is activated and you can start using the services. Okay, so this is how. And once you have an AWS account, you can log in and access to the services whichever you want. So participants, please respond in the chat box. Am I clear in explaining you the step-by-step process of going ahead and creating a new AWS account? It's very, very simple. If you're already having an AWS account, happy, you can use an existing AWS account. If you're not having an AWS account, it just takes approximately hardly 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Okay, just furnish your email, furnish your mobile, furnish your card details. That's it. Thank you very much. And the AWS account which will be created now, you will be available for free for a period of 12 months. Okay. For 12 months, it will be free with some limitations. I'll explain you what are the limitations with respect to services. So this is how you have to create a new AWS account. Yes, Deepak. Good morning. You have to unmute. By default, you'll be on mute. You have to unmute. Yes, Deepak.
Sir, actually, if I go with the professional, then what will be the process for creating the account?
Repeat your question. What is the?
If I go with the professional, there is a two type
Professional.
of, yes.
The process remains the same. Whether it is a personal account or professional account, the process remains the same. It needs your email address, your mobile number, and card details. That's it. There is no difference in the process of creating a new AWS account, whether it is personal or professional. Okay?
But why, sir, it is two types? Then if it, all the are same, then
because the free tier is having some limitations. Okay? When you're using services, you cannot use all the services. You have to use limited services with some limited features. Are you understanding? Whereas professional type, you will not have any limitations. You can exclusively use any service whichever you want, complete access.
Okay, but after 1 year, it, personal, it will automatically become the professional.
Professional, correct. After 1 year, it becomes automatically professional. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Perfect. So I have shown you how to create a new AWS account. The next thing we have to learn, creating a Linux machine. Our plan is to learn Linux operating system. Our plan is to learn Linux. Participants, we cannot learn Linux on our personal laptop because our personal laptop is installed with Windows operating system. Agree or not? So we cannot learn Linux. We need a Linux environment. So instead of formatting the laptop and installing Linux on the laptop, what we can do, we can create Linux machine on AWS. Any operating system you want, you can create it on AWS. You can create a Linux machine. If you want, you can create one more Windows machine. Or if you want, you can create a Mac operating system also. Any operating system also, you can go ahead and create it on AWS Cloud. That's the beauty. So this is our AWS. Let me log into AWS Cloud. The URL, you know it, aws.amazon.com. Sign in. I have an AWS account. Let me log in. I have logged into AWS. I have successfully logged into AWS. My plan, oh, look at this. This is the AWS platform. And what is our plan? Our plan is to create a Linux machine. Is it? Our plan is to create a Linux machine. If your plan is to create a Linux machine or a Windows machine or a Mac operating system or a Solaris operating system, any operating system, you can create it on AWS by using a service called as EC2. Stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Using EC2 service, you can create a machine whichever you want. So my plan is to create a Linux machine. I have just logged into AWS. Go to services. What is the required service? Can you see here? Go to compute. Under the compute group, there's an option called EC2. It's all about creating virtual servers on cloud. So select the option called EC2. Stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So this is all about creating machines, creating Linux machines, creating Windows machines. All this is possible by using a service called as EC2. So out of 200 services, we are selecting a service called as EC2. And our plan is to create a new machine. Machine is nothing but instance. Here we have an option called instances. Very important observation. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see here very clearly. But there are 4 machines. Already we have 4 machines. I'll be using these 4 machines. I'm using these 4 machines for other batches. But coming to this particular session, my plan is to create a new Linux machine. I can also say it as Linux instance. Okay. So this is our plan. Yes, Elrita. Good evening.
Sorry, I missed the last step. Can you maybe go back a little bit?
You are talking about the process of creating a AWS account.
No, here where you did the
Okay, I have
instance
logged
and
into AWS. Okay,
uh-huh.
isn't it? This is the URL aws.amazon.com. Okay, so sign in to the console. This is the dashboard of how AWS login page looks like. Under services, Elrita, you have to select a group called compute.
Mhm.
Under compute, we have a service called EC2. EC2 service is used for creating the machines on cloud. So I'm selecting a service called EC2. Under EC2, we have an option called instances. Okay. And
Okay,
these
I'm
are
there. Thank you.
these are the already available instances which I'm using for other training batches. But coming to our case, our plan is to create a new Linux machine. So here I'll be showing you how to create a new Linux machine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. So now the new thing what you have learned is the EC2 is the name of the service which is used for creating Linux machine on AWS. Let's go ahead and create a Linux machine. Okay. Very important. When you're creating a Linux machine, okay, when you're creating a Linux machine, you have to be very clear with the configuration. What is the configuration of the Linux machine? What do you mean by configuration? Configuration is nothing but what is the RAM of this memory of that particular Linux machine? What is the processor of this particular Linux machine? What is the hard disk of this particular Linux machine? This is all about configuration details, isn't it? If you buy a laptop, we generally go to the shopkeeper and we ask configuration, is it? What is the configuration available? Or you explain your requirements. I want an i7 laptop with 500 GB of storage and 16 GB memory. That's a configuration. That's what you want. In the same way, when you're creating a Linux machine, you have to be very clear. How much RAM you want to have for this particular Linux machine? How many processors you want for this particular Linux machine? What is the storage? What is hard disk you want to provide to this Linux machine? And when I say Linux, there are different flavors of Linux. We have Red Hat Linux. We have SUSE Linux. We have Ubuntu flavor. There are different flavors of Linux, right? So you have to be very clear in what operating system, what version, what is the configuration. All this you have to be very clear with you when you're creating a Linux machine. I have the details with me. Let me show you the process of creating a new Linux machine on AWS. Can you see we have an option called launch instances? When you're creating a new instance is nothing but a machine. Mention the name of the machine. Okay, I'm naming it as some machine 1. I name machine, that's okay. I want to name it as machine 1. Application and OS image, that's nothing but referring to operating system. Here, you can see Linux AWS provides different flavors of Linux. You can different operating systems. You can go ahead and create Amazon. As I told you, you can also select Mac operating system. You can select Ubuntu. You can select Windows, Red Hat. The different flavors. Can you see here? There are a lot of operating systems available. There are many operating systems available. I am selecting Ubuntu flavor of the Linux. Okay. Can you see here at the bottom, the moment you select an option Ubuntu, you get different options of Ubuntu. You can go with Ubuntu 22 version or you want Ubuntu 20 version. There are a lot of versions available of Ubuntu. You have to select the white version. And very important, there are only few operating systems which are eligible for free tier. Have you observed? The AWS account what we have created is a free tier account. I hope you remember. So please make sure that you select the operating system which is eligible for free tier. For example, if you select Mac, this is a Mac operating system. Is it eligible for free tier? No. We are having a free tier account. So please make sure that you are selecting only free tier options. So I'm going with Ubuntu and I'm selecting the Ubuntu operating system, Ubuntu 22.04. It's a free tier eligible. Yes. So this is what operating system which I'm creating. It is a 64-bit operating system. Perfect. Next. Very important is instance type. The next thing you have to be very clear with the instance type. There are many instance types available. There are many instance type available in AWS. The hardware configuration of the Linux machine is dependent on instance type. Participants, the hardware configuration of the Linux machine which you are creating is dependent on instance type. AWS provides different types of instances. Look at this. When you click on this drop-down list, under the instance type, when you click on this drop-down list, you will get many instance types. Can you see here? We have T2 nano instance type, we have T2 micro, T2 small, T2 medium, T2 large, T2 extra large, T2X, T2 double X, T3, T3 micro. So there are a lot of instance types available. Out of all these instance types available, there is only one instance type which is eligible for free tier. Have you observed? There is only one instance type, that is T2 micro, which is eligible for free tier. Rest of all the instances are not eligible for free tier. So I will be selecting an instance type which is eligible for free tier, that is called T2 micro. What is the instance type I have selected? The instance type what I have selected is T2 micro. What does that mean? This means the T2 micro instance is nothing but it comes with one CPU and 1 GB memory. Now you got the information about the hardware configuration. The Linux machine which you are planning to create is of 1 GB memory, and how many processors? It is having 1 processor. Okay, coming to storage, I'll discuss about the storage in the next step. Clear? So that's the T2 micro. If you think that Sunil, 1 GB memory is very, very small, I want an 8 GB memory and I want to have a faster machine. Okay, yes, you can go ahead with a bigger instance type if you can select. Please observe. If you select T2 large, instance type as T2 large, it comes with 2 CPUs and 8 GB memory. But the problem is there's a billing for it. 0.1272 US dollars per hour is the billing for this particular T2 large instances. Okay, so based on the business requirements, based on the client requirements, so you can create a Linux machine, any machine which is up to 64 GB memory or 128 GB memory as well. But for our practice purpose, T2 micro is more than enough. So I'm selecting the instance type as T2 micro. That means this Linux machine comes with 1 GB memory and 1 CPU. Very good. Scroll down. This is something new again. you can use key pair to securely connect to the instance. After creating a Linux machine from our personal laptop, our plan is to connect to the Linux machine, not just create it. We should be able to successfully connect. Agree? After creating a Linux machine, we have to successfully connect to the Linux machine and we need to practice the Linux commands. To securely connect to the Linux machine, it is very important that for us, we need to have a key pair. We have to download key pair. Key pair is used for connectivity purpose. A key pair is nothing but a file with extension .ppk. Key pair can be file extension .ppk or it can be file extension .pem. In our example, I'm restricting with ppk. So key pair is nothing but a file with extension .ppk, which helps in connecting to the Linux machine. Okay, as I have seen here, you can use a key pair to securely connect to the Linux machine. So you have to create a new key pair. You have to create a new key pair. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new key pair. What's the name of the key pair? Name of the key pair can be anything. I'm writing it as Linux KP stands for key pair. It can be any name with today's date 30. Okay, and save the format as ppk. Okay, and go ahead and create a new key pair. When you go ahead and create a new key pair, it will ask you to download it is asking you to download the key pair. The file gets downloaded. The file gets downloaded. You can download it any location. As of now, I'm downloading in desktop. Okay, this is a new batch, right? So this is batch 11 a.m. In this particular desktop batch 11 a.m. folder, I am downloading the key pair. Very, very important step. In the process of creating a Linux machine, it will prompt you to download a key pair. Yes, we have successfully downloaded a key pair. I'll show you where is the key pair downloaded in my desktop. In the desktop. Okay. You have created a new folder, right? Batch 11 a.m. folder, you can see here. You can see the folder here, batch 11 a.m. folder, which is in the desktop. In this particular folder, I have downloaded a key pair. Key pair is nothing but a file with extension .ppk. So we also have downloaded the key pair as mentioned by AWS. Scroll down. Network settings, take the default settings. Don't disturb about the network settings. This is all about how do you want the ports to be open. You don't need to worry about this. Storage is nothing but hard disk. This machine comes with 8 GB of hard disk. Okay. So hard disk is 8 GB storage. Okay, perfect. That's it. You are done. Review the details. Number of machines. You can see here. Number of machines also, you can go ahead and create 10 machines at one single stretch, one single wizard. So, but I want to create only one instance. Review. It's an Ubuntu version 22.04, which is of T2 micro instances. That's it. Click on launch instance. So the machine is in the process of creating. Scroll down. View all instances. Can you see the machine is still pending? It will take a minute. It will take a minute for the machine to get started. Yes, Sumant. Your question.
So, hi Sunil. Just would
Yeah.
like to know, in case when we have creating a 10 instances, will the same key pair will be the same, or will different key pairs will be?
Yeah. We can have one key pair for connecting to all the 10 instances also. Okay.
10. Yeah.
Yes, it is possible. Yes. Good question. Done. You can see this is the machine which we have just now created. The machine is in running state. Okay, so when you select the machine, you will also get the IP address of that particular machine. Even IP address will be allocated to this particular machine. Every machine will have a unique ID called as instance ID, a unique number that is called instance ID. That's okay. The machine is ready. Perfect. So we have achieved the next step of the process of creating a Linux machine. I hope I'm very clear in explaining you the process of creating a Linux machine. Once you're done with creating a Linux machine, once you're done with creating a Linux machine, and I have one question to you. Where is this Linux machine created? This is the machine which you have created. My question to you, where is the Linux machine created? Obviously, you may have an answer. Sunil, it is very simple. You already have mentioned that we have created Linux machine on AWS cloud. Your answer is right. But AWS, to provide those many number of services, how many number of services? 200 number of services. To provide these many number of services to customers all over the world, AWS is maintaining data centers. Am I right? AWS is maintaining data centers. So my question is, this particular Linux machine which I have created just now, which we have created just now, it is running on which data center? That's my question. You can see that information also at the right side top. Can you see it is now, we are connected in which region? Mumbai. So all this machine which I have created, the Linux machine which I have created is in Mumbai region, Mumbai data center. If you scroll down, AWS is having a lot of data centers. It is having data center in Singapore. It is having data center in Canada, Europe, US. Clear, there are many data centers available. You can connect to any data center, you can create it. Okay, so I have connected to the nearest data center, that is Mumbai. So please remember, whatever you're doing it, specific to, restrict to one data center. So I recommend to work out with Mumbai also, Mumbai only. So I have connected to Mumbai. So whenever you create a new AWS account, when you're creating a Linux machine, take a note of it. Make sure that you select Mumbai region. Okay, so yes, I have created my machine in Mumbai data center. Now the point is, this Linux machine is running on Mumbai data center, and I am based out of Hyderabad. My current location is Hyderabad. So from Hyderabad, from my personal laptop, I have to connect to the Linux machine. Is it possible? Yes, it is definitely possible. Okay, you can connect to the Linux machine by using a terminal. We need a terminal to connect to the Linux machine. The terminal is called as PuTTY. The terminal which we are using for connecting the Linux machine is PuTTY. So what you have to do, you have to download PuTTY. Okay, you have to download PuTTY in your personal laptop. You need to download the terminal. Terminal is required. Now I am showing you, I'm talking about this step, connecting to the Linux machine using the terminal called as PuTTY. So first step, what you have to do is to download the terminal PuTTY in your personal laptop. How to download? I'm showing you now. Just search for PuTTY download. PuTTY is the name of the terminal. Go to the first site, putty.org. When you click on this download PuTTY, it will be again redirected to one more site, cherk.greenend.org. When you click on download PuTTY, it is directing to one more site, cherk.greenend.org. Select this one, 64-bit ARM. So it is downloading, I want to download in the downloads folder. Okay. So what is downloaded, participants? Can you see here? The PuTTY, today I have downloaded the PuTTY terminal. So open the PuTTY. Download the first one. Download the first one. And open the PuTTY. The terminal is now open. This is how a PuTTY terminal looks like. This is how the PuTTY terminal looks like. So I have installed PuTTY in my personal laptop. Now your PuTTY is ready. Okay. Now connecting to that Linux machine. How to connect to the Linux machine? Select the Linux machine which you want to connect. Okay. We have an option called connect button, which will provide you the information. So click on connect. This connect option is having 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs. EC2 instance, connect session manager, SSH client, and EC2 output is nothing but SSH client. So select SSH client. Okay. And here, pick up this user at DNS. This is the DNS name. EC213. This is the DNS name. Pick up user at DNS. So this you have to pick up. I'll show you. So you are connecting to user at the DNS name. So this you have to provide it. Where you have to provide it in the PuTTY terminal. Under the host name, you have to provide the user at DNS. Copy. Allowing to paste. Interesting. Right click copy. Generally, it should allow us to paste. This is the machine. Click on connect. Pick up. One more time. So I have copied user at DNS. Okay. I have provided the same string. And then, very important, when you're creating a Linux machine, you have downloaded a key pair. A key pair is nothing but file with extension .ppk, stands for PuTTY private key. So you have to provide that ppk file. You have to provide that ppk file. So where is my ppk file available? It is available in my desktop. I have downloaded in desktop in the batch 11 AM batch. This is the ppk file. You have to browse and then upload the ppk file to the PuTTY. So I'll show you now. Go to SSH. Under authentication, go to credentials, private key. ppk file is nothing but the private key. Private key, click on browse. And it is available in desktop, 11 AM batch. This is the ppk file. Okay. So your PuTTY needs ppk file. I have clearly mentioned where is the location of the ppk file for authentication purpose. Click on open. Are you sure you want to connect? Click on accept. Participants, please observe here, we have successfully connected to the Linux machine. Please respond in the chat box. Am I clear in explaining you the process of creating a new Linux machine, not just creating a Linux machine? I hope I am very clear in explaining you the process of connecting to the Linux machine using the terminal called PuTTY. Perfect. Yes, for Mac also you have to download the terminal, okay, for Mac. So for better visibility, let me increase the font size. So let me increase the font size. Perfect. I have successfully connected. What is the proof? If you ask the proof, you can see the IP address of the machine 172.31.45.111. Is it the same IP address? This is the machine. 172.35.45.111. Are you getting the same IP address? Is the same IP address. We have successfully connected. Exit to disconnect it. I will show you how to connect again. Open the terminal putty. Where is the putty terminal? Putty terminal is available in the downloads folder. So open the terminal putty. You have under the host name, you have to mention the user at DNS. That's what I already have copied it. Under SSH, under authentication, under credentials, you have to browse and detect your PPK file. That's it. Click on open. You will be successfully connected to the Linux machine. You will be successfully connected to the Linux machine. ls2c list of all the files. Right now, there are no files, which is a new Linux machine which we have successfully created. Exit to disconnect it. Disconnect the connection. So I am based out of Hyderabad city. I have successfully connected to a Linux machine, which is somewhere running in the Mumbai data center of AWS using the terminal called as putty. Clear, my dear friends? This is how you have to connect to the Linux machine. Yes, Deepak, your question.
Sir, hello.
Yes, Deepak.
Sir, every time I need to connect through the putty, I have to put that endpoint every time. Or is there any way one should avoid
No,
connect?
so once, see, it's a whenever you want connect, you have to just use these details. You have to have that username at DNS, and then you have to upload the PPK file. That's all. That's the only option you have to connect. Okay.
Okay, sir. Another question is, once I created to T2 micro, but in future my requirement increased. I want
Yes,
to.
you can scale up. Okay, you can change the instance type from T2 micro to large. It can be possible. Scaling up, scaling down is possible.
Okay.
That's the advantage of cloud. Yes. Yes, Manjunath. Good morning. Yes. Yes, you are now allowed to unmute. Yes, Manjunath.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the Mac version for the putty. Yeah,
Okay,
just
you have, so under the in Mac you have an option to download applications, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so you can download, you can search for the application putty under Mac, you will get it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Done. Yes, Shiva.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Shiva, how are you?
Fine, sir. How are you,
Yeah.
sir?
Doing well, thank you. Yes, your question.
Yeah, I'm clear about the connect from putty, sir. Can you please show us how to connect from console ends?
What do you mean by console?
From AWS ends.
What do you mean by console? For connecting to the Linux machine, you have to have a terminal, mandatory. Terminal is mandatory. Okay. We have one terminal called putty. There's one more terminal called git bash also. We'll be seeing that in the coming sessions. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There's nothing called graphical user interface. Okay. So we have to connect from the terminal. Okay. And very important point, my dear friends. Once you're done practicing, okay. So let me show you a basic Linux command, a very important Linux command. How to create a new file. Let me connect to the Linux machine. Let's open putty. Under authentication, credentials, PPK file. We have successfully connected, no doubt. Perfect. Okay. Next. Look at this. I want to create a file in Linux. I want to create, I'll show you the getting started with Linux. Let's say I want to create a file. Whenever you want to create a file in Linux, we have a command called, a very simple command called cat command, which helps you to create a file. I want to create a file with the name F1. This is the name of the file which you want to create. So the command will be cat use greater than symbol, mention the file which you want to create, F1, and write the contents into the file. And then Control D is used to come out of the cat command. Let me show you quickly. Anyways, we'll repeat that in the next session. Cat greater than, mention the file which you want to create. I want to create a file F1. The file gets created, and you will not get the dollar prompt. As you can see, like previously, you're getting dollar prompt, but here when the file gets created, you will not get the dollar prompt. This means the control is inside the file. Write the contents which you want to have it in the file. For example, good morning, welcome to DevOps. Thank you. This is the 3 lines of content which I want to write it into the file. How to come out of the cat command back to dollar prompt. If you want to come out of the cat command, you have an option called Control D. So I use Control D. I'm back to dollar prompt. I'm done with creating a file. I want to create one more file. It's a cat greater than. I want to create one more file F2. Whatever the contents you wanted, write the contents and Control D to come out of the cat command. So I have created how many files? File 1 and file 2. So if you see, list stands for list of all the files. How many files you have created? File 1 and file 2. So these are the 2 files which you have created. Okay, so this is how you have to create a file. If you want to remove a file, we have a command called rm F2 to remove a file. This is how you have to remove a file. I have removed the first file, and similarly, I want to remove the second file. Yes, so this is now list to show a list of all the files. Right now, there are no files. Okay, so cat is one command we have learned. ls stands for list and rm stands for remove command. So don't worry, we'll be anyways discussed in detail in the coming session. If you want to disconnect and connection, and exit is used to disconnect the connection to the Linux machine and close the terminal. Your connection is disconnected, terminal is closed. And then after terminal is closed, very important point, don't directly sign out. Here we have an option of sign out. Don't directly sign out. That's not the right way. You can see the machine is in running state. Select the machine. You have to stop the machine. Whenever you want again stop, you can start the machine. Can you see all the other machines are stopped? Similarly, you can also, you have to, this is a good practice. Please stop the machine. Don't leave the machine running state. Okay, so let's say when you're using your personal laptop or desktop, once you're done, you will stop your laptop in the same way. The machines are also should be handled very carefully. You can see the machine is successfully stopped. So you can see a refresh. It will just take a minute for the machine to stop, and it just takes a machine 1 minute for the machine to get started. You can see the machine is successfully stopped. Once the machine is stopped, please go ahead and sign out. Tomorrow, what we'll do, we'll start the same machine. We again start working with complete session. Tomorrow session completely. Today's session we have spent some time process of creating a new AWS account, creating Linux machine, working with terminal, key pair, and all the stuff. In tomorrow, complete focus on Linux commands. We'll learn, make yourself comfortable with the operations of Linux. Yes, Ayub, how are you?
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Nice, sir. Sir, my question is 750 hours is so 1 month.
1 month, 750 hours per month.
1 month.
That's more than enough, right? If you
Yes,
use
sir.
daily 1 hour also, it will take just 30 hours.
And stop
Okay.
machine, you count your any charges and not
Yeah,
nothing.
stop permissions are also counted. We'll discuss that in the coming classes. Okay.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes, Ayub.
Is my class is joining yours, sir? The permission yours, sir.
Yeah. You already have mailed me, right? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
You will get the permission. So after the demo sessions are completed, you will get a new Zoom link also. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And take the advantage of recording. If you think that this session is a little bit fast, please repeat the video. You can take the advantage of recording. So our plan for tomorrow is to getting completely in detail with the Linux commands. So this is our plan for tomorrow's session. I hope you are in the WhatsApp group. Okay, I hope you are in the WhatsApp group. If you are not in the WhatsApp group, we already have shared the WhatsApp community link. If you're not in the this is exclusively WhatsApp group created dedicated for this particular batch. I have just posted in the chat box. For exclusively this particular batch, there is a WhatsApp group created. So please, in case if you're not belonging to the WhatsApp group, please join the WhatsApp group to get the updates. We are planning for some workshops in next in this particular month. Okay, everything you will get the updates in this WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you and see you tomorrow for day 3. Today's day 2. Tomorrow is day 3. In day 3, we will get started with complete understanding of the Linux operating system. Have a good time. Thank you very much.